Hello everybody, and welcome back to Certified Collectibles. This is another episode of First Appearance of the Week. This is Wednesday, July 10th, 2024. We'll be giving you all the first appearance in your comic shops today. Now this week we have a pretty good lineup for you guys. I think we have 6 first appearances, 1 honorable mention, so 7 titles in all to go through. There's definitely some books in there worth picking up for your collection. So let's go ahead and get started for the first appearance of the week, ending July 12th, 2024. First up from DC Comics. From the DC Vault, Death in the Family, Robin Lives #1. Now this here is a limited series that harkens back to 1988 when comic fans voted for Jason Todd to die. Except this issue tells the story of what happens if he was spared from death. Now this issue also features the possible first appearance of Mother Grimm and her Army of Lost Children as referenced in the solicitation for issue number 3 of this series. Now you definitely want to get confirmation that this is the first full appearance of this character before you pick this one up. If this is not the first full appearance of Mother Grimm, then this is one you could probably skip on. But we won't really know till later on today. This is filmed very early in the morning, and the books actually don't hit the shelf till later. So if this is a confirmed first appearance, this is one you probably want to pick up the spec on. This is also the story of Jason Todd if he actually were to live and he wasn't killed off in the late 80s. So this is also a cool story to begin with. So this is one we do think is probably worth picking up the spec on. Like I said, only if it is a confirmed first appearance, so definitely get that confirmation first. If so, pick this one here up to spec on. If not, put in your B-list and take a look at it later on. Next up from Marvel Comics, Annihilation 2099 #2. This features the first appearance of Star-Lord 2099, a Wakandan tech goddess. It also features the first appearance of Quasar 2099. Now, we always recommend picking up the first appearance of new characters in Marvel titles. Marvel Disney is still churning out a ton of media for the small screen and big screen, and you really don't know where any of these characters they're introducing in the comics may end up. If they hit the screen, collectors will race back and try to find the first appearances in the comics. That being said, though, this issue does just feature variants of existing characters, these 2099 variant characters, and Star-Lord, apparently they're making a female, a Wakandan tech goddess, and this is the first appearance of this Quasar 2099 as well. We really don't know much more about that character. So this one here does have variants of existing characters, so we really don't know how important these variant characters will be in the future. But like I said, you never know. If Marvel Disney throw one of these characters on the screen, collectors will race back to the comics and try to find the first appearances. So this one here is still probably worth picking up the spec on. Grab it for a spec if you can. If you can't, put in your B-list and take a look at it later on. Next up from Marvel Comics, Kid Venom #1. This features the first appearance of Minamoto Torimitsu and the Samurai Corps. Now, like we just mentioned a moment ago, it's typically always worth picking up the first appearance of new characters in Marvel titles. And this here Kid Venom series, this is of course part of the Venom franchise, which is of course part of the Spider-Man universe. Spider-Man, probably the most heavily collected and most popular franchise for Marvel Comics, and the fact that this Kid Venom series is part of that Spider-Man universe, this issue here is probably worth picking up. This does feature the first appearance of this Minamoto Torimitsu character. We really don't know much about this character at this point. But like I said, anything part of the Spider-Man universe is typically worth owning. And this here is also the premiere issue of this Kid Venom series. So in our opinion, this one here is definitely worth picking up for your collection. Go ahead and grab this one. Next up from Marvel Comics, Spider-Boy #9. This features the possible first appearance of a multiverse Spider-Man not yet introduced in comics. Now, the solicitation reads that this features one Spider that you've seen before, but never on these Mighty Marvel pages. That means they're bringing a character or a Spider-Man character from a streaming series, TV show, cartoon into the comics for the first time. So this will be an established character that they're just bringing into the comics, and this here is the possible first appearance. Once again, we don't have confirmation yet. We won't until later today. But if this is confirmed to be the first appearance in comics of this existing Spider-Man character, then this is probably one you do want to pick up and own. This Spider-Boy franchise, this series has had a lot of first appearances. They're only on issue number 9 right now, but almost every issue does hit our list. They're always introducing new characters into this franchise. So this is one we do think you should pick up, like we mentioned a moment ago. Spider-Man, the most heavily collected and most popular franchise for Marvel Comics. So anytime they introduce a new character, you definitely want to get this for your collection. Make sure this is the confirmed first appearance before you pick this one up. If it is, grab this one here for your collection. Next up from Marvel Comics, Star Wars Ahsoka #1. This features the first appearance of Baylan Skoll, also the first appearance of Shin Hati. Now, we always recommend picking up these Marvel-published Star Wars titles. Marvel Disney is still churning out a ton of media for the Star Wars franchise. Huge fan base, huge collector base, and anytime they introduce a new character into the Star Wars franchise, these are books you definitely want to pick up and own. Like I just said, Marvel Disney is still churning out a ton of media, and we expect this to go far into the future. You really don't know where these characters they're introduced in the comics may end up. If they hit the screen, whether small screen or big screen, Collectors will race back to the comics to try to find these first appearances, so in our opinion, these are definitely worth picking up. Go ahead and grab this one here for your collection. And finally from Marvel Comics, X-Men #1. This features the first team appearance of an antagonist team. This also features the first appearance of Paula Robbins. And this also features the debut of the Factory, the headquarters of the X-Men. Now this issue doesn't only have a few first appearances, but it also features the debut of the new headquarters for the X-Men, and this here is also the premiere issue of X-Men, Volume 7. So this one here is one we definitely think you should pick up. You know, now that Marvel Disney have the rights to X-Men, they're definitely going to be doing a lot with this franchise in the future, whether for a streaming series or a feature film. So you definitely want to pick up these books when they feature new characters. And like I said, this here is the premiere issue of X-Men, Volume 7. This one here is one we definitely think you should pick up for your collection. Go ahead and grab this one. And now for the honorable mention. From Image Comics, The Domain #1. When three best friends discover a crashed UFO, they also discover technology that gives the wearer incredible abilities, but only one of them can use the powers at a time. Now this one here sounds like it lends itself very well to a small screen, big screen project, and Image Comics has had a lot of their titles picked up an option in the past. Like we always mention with the small press and indie publishers, if these stories get optioned for the screen, they really don't have to actually make it to the screen, they just have to be optioned, and that's enough to drive buzz, enough to get hype going on these titles, and definitely enough to drive up price in the secondary market. So this is one we do think you should probably pick up the spec on. It will be speculative though, because you are specking on this getting optioned, picked up, getting a lot more eyes on this title, and get a lot of people to race back to the secondary market to try to find this issue. But you know, like I mentioned, this sounds like it lends itself very well to the screen. In our opinion, this is a great spec bet. So grab this for a spec if you can. If you can't, put in your B-list, but definitely keep an eye on this one. So there you have the 7 titles that we have for you guys this week. There's definitely some books in there worth picking up for your collection. So please feel free to drop some comments in the comment section below. Thumbs up if you like this video. And as always, please remember to subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Thank you for joining us here at Certified Collectibles, and we'll see you again next time.